Now, you have been told that to truly understand the Quran, you need to spend years memorizing grammar tables, or sell your car to move to Egypt or Mauritania, or get accepted in Medina University. But what if I actually told you that the reason why you don't know Arabic yet is because you have been trying to memorize grammar rules and attending all of these lessons that start with grammar. My name is Muhammad Al-Andalusi. I am the founder of AndalusInstitute.com, and I spent the first 18 years of my life not speaking a word of Arabic.
أنا 18 years old فقط.
But once I cracked this system, I went from zero to being accepted in Al-Azhar University in 10 months and finishing a 3-year curriculum in just 1 year. And yes, the curriculum was all in Arabic. That's the point. I know you know the feeling of opening a page from the Quran and recognizing a word here and a word there. Maybe Ar-Rahman, maybe Bismillah, maybe Al-Ard, As-Sama. But the actual meaning is quite a blur. And you're probably one of those who have tried the free YouTube resources. Matter of fact, here on my YouTube channel, I have the whole explanation of Al-Arabiya bin Aydic book, 64 lessons, and the whole explanation of Al-Ajurumiyya as well. But they are scattered. You have maybe tried to memorize a long list of the 100 most common Arabic words. But when you see them in a verse, they don't click. You feel like you are spinning your wheels. And honestly, I know it's frustrating because I've been there myself. You start thinking maybe I'm just not a language person, or I guess I'll wait until I can move to Medina. But trust me, I was there when I was 18 as well. Finally started to practice the deen, but feeling like a stranger in my own deen, especially when I used to go to the masajid and it was only older people and they all speak Arabic. I can't even communicate with them. So yeah, it is frustrating, but you need to stop thinking that you need a plane ticket to Cairo or a PhD in linguistics to understand the word of Allah. The grammar first model is a modern invention that actually blocks your brain. We need to return to the fitra of language. The way as-Salaf as-Salih learned and the way the human brain is biologically wired to acquire speech. You don't need more rules. You need more raw material, vocabulary, and you need it used in the right way. So today in this video, I'm going to show you the Kashf al-Mufradat system, the vocabulary unveiling method that took me from zero to fluent in under a year. And look, if you are serious about actually learning the Arabic language, I want to help you personally. Throughout this video, I will mention how you can get a vocabulary wallet, which is a tool usually reserved for our private students. But today I'm going to tell you how you can get this for free. And as you can see, it's full because I'm still using it even after a decade of learning the Arabic language. So if you are serious, stick with me and I will tell you at one point how you can get one of these for free, bi'idhnillah. In step 1, we are going to talk about rebuilding your language fitra, your natural feeling towards a language and how it's actually learned. You know, when I first landed in Egypt, I saw guys who had spent years in classrooms. They could recite every single chapter, every single bab of a nahu. But when it came to buying bread, they couldn't do it without stuttering. Why? Because they forgot how humans are actually built to learn. So think about it as if you was a child. And ask yourself, does a child study the subject and the predicate, the mubtada and al-khabar before they say mama? What they actually do is they acquire vocabulary in stages. First, they learn how to talk about themselves. Look, I'm hungry, I water, I sleep. Then they move into their surroundings. Look, a cat, a car, a tree. Then once they spend a few months doing this, they go into interest topics where they are able to talk about topics that are more related to something in specific. For example, drawing. I like this color better. I had a lot of fun playing this game. And then finally, they get into being able to speak about abstract ideas, which is when they are a little bit older and they are able to speak about things like expressing their feelings, and I don't like when this friend of mine does this and that, it makes me feel a certain way, and so on. And just abstract ideas as well in regards of when I grow up, I want to be a superhero, and they develop their brain to be able to accept abstract ideas in the world. Now, in second language acquisition, SLA, we call this meaning before form. It means your brain needs to understand what is being said before it cares how it's being constructed. And Ibn Khaldun explains this in his very known book Al-Muqaddimah. He says, إن اللغة هي عبارة المتكلم عن مقصوده وتلك العبارة فعل لساني ناشئ عن قصد أو عن القصد بإفادة الكلام، فلا بد أن تصير ملكة متقررة في العضو الفاعل لها وهو اللسان. He says language is the expression of the speaker about what he intends. عن قصد, what he intends. That expression is a linguistic action arising from the intent to convey speech. Therefore, it must become a firmly rooted faculty in the organ that performs it, namely the tongue. So Ibn Khaldun here, he uses a word which is al-malaka, which is a trait that you have, a faculty, a habit. And Ibn Khaldun is saying that Arabic isn't a set of rules you memorize. It's a habit you build in your tongue, a trait, something that your tongue knows to do on automatic mode. And this is why our students, we make them, enforce them to speak from day one, from after the first lesson.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
كيف حالك؟
أنا بخير وأنت؟
الحمد لله أنا بخير. ما اسمك؟
اسمي نيكولاي.
نيكولاي.
وأنت؟
نيكولاي أو نيكولاي؟ من نون أو بالميم؟
نيكولاي.
بالميم. نيكولاي. جيد جيد. مرحبا بك يا أخي نيكولاي. أنا اسمي عفان. اسمي عفان. من أين أنت يا أخي نيكولاي؟
أنا من بولندا.
بولندا. ممتاز. you forgot about me يا أخي.
وأين أنت؟ من أين أنت؟
ومن أين أنت؟ أنا من بريطانيا. أنا من بريطانيا. Very good. So now notice when you responded to me in the beginning, you said وأنت, which is very good. It's very good for lesson 1. يعني الله مبارك, you're doing very good. So you said وأنت. So that's a short response. And there's a long response, which is وكيف حالك. You just add a واو. وكيف حالك. ومن أين أنت. وما اسمك. Okay? So,
by the way, if you want that mentorship and you are actually serious about learning the Arabic language and you want to follow a structured program that you know that if you complete, guaranteed 100% bi'idhnillah azza wa jal, you are going to learn the Arabic language, check the first link in the description and go into that page and see more information and see even students who have completed the program themselves, so you can see what is possible for you to achieve. Once you go into that page, you will see a button that says book a qualification call. If you book a qualification call and talk to my team successfully, go on the meeting with them, whether you decide that being part of the program is something you want to do, or whether you decide to go elsewhere to learn the Arabic language, we're going to give you a محفظة المفردات, vocabulary wallet, because regardless of how you are learning the Arabic language, you are going to use this محفظة المفردات, which is basically a notebook that has been classified with the most important categories of vocabulary in verbs and nouns. So for nouns is the singulars, for verbs is the past tense, present tense, masdar, which is the verbal noun, etc. And this one is something that I have used from as long as I can remember since I started learning the Arabic language to gather vocabulary. And this brings me to step number 2, which is acquire don't memorize. And what I mean by this is that vocabulary itself. Most people pick up a dictionary and start at alif. That is a recipe for burnout. You need comprehensible input, a concept, which again in second language acquisition, where you learn new words surrounded by words you already know. So the meaning clicks naturally. We don't just memorize غضب, he became angry. We read a story where a man's face turns red, he raises his voice, and then the text says فغضب. And suddenly you feel the word. It clicks before you even break down those three root letters, gha, da, ba, and before you even go into the dictionary. And this is an incredible method, which they call it as well I+1, which is your level plus a level above, or simply put, is learning vocabulary in context. So read a text where you understand about 95% of it, and that 5% of that text is what you are learning in that text. So maybe it's going to be just 10, 15 words. In our case, in Andalus Institute, for each lesson, on average, you learn 25 to 50 sometimes new vocabulary words. And as you can see on the screen, in the first few lessons, the texts are all in black. But then once we get to the further lessons, all the words that are in color, as you can see, these are words that the student at this stage doesn't know. So as you can see, it's just a small percentage of the full text, which allows you to acquire new vocabulary in context and understand it as soon as you come across it because of the context. You can see here at the last lesson of A2 level, you can see there is way more dark text. That means that the student at this stage, he knows way more vocabulary and he's able to speak way more. And Arabic is incredible, and I can tell you this, speaking 5 languages, Spanish, Catalan, French, English, and Arabic. When it comes to Arabic, it's incredible because it's built on roots. So for example, if you take the root for kataba, to write, from this one root, you get kataba, he wrote. You get kitab, which is book. You get maktaba, which is library. You get maktab, which is office. You get katib, which is writer. So when you learn vocabulary in context through the root system, you're not memorizing 5 words only. You're recognizing one pattern. And then if you come across another word derived from this pattern, you are more likely, whether it's hearing it or whether it's reading it, you're more likely to understand what is being told or what is being written, which is the point of language. Ibn Ashur says in his tafsir of the verse, وَعَلَّمَ آدَمَ الْأَسْمَاءَ كُلَّهَا, and Allah taught Adam the names of all things. He says, لأنك إذا نظرت إلى المعارف كلها وجدتها وضع أسماء لمسميات وتعريف معاني تلك الأسماء. He says, if you examine all forms of knowledge, you will find that they are nothing but assigning names to things and defining the meanings of those names. So what he is saying here is that the foundation of all science is vocabulary. So basically linking the ism, linking the actual name to al-musamma, linking the name to the thing that it represents. That's what knowledge is. If you don't have the words, grammar is just a frame with no picture. And here's more about this tafsir that I was mentioning of Ibn Ashur, tafsir al-Tahrir wal-Tanwir. He says, based on the ayah of وَعَلَّمَ آدَمَ الْأَسْمَاءَ كُلَّهَا ثُمَّ عَرَضَهُمْ عَلَى الْمَلَائِكَةِ, that Allah taught Adam the name of all things, then he showed it to the angels. He says, Ibn Ashur, that this is the mabda of al-ulum. The mabda of al-ulum is the beginning of an entrance of all, or foundation of all sciences, i.e. learning how to express yourself. And again, starting with vocabulary, is the mabda of all al-ulum. And he says, فَالْإِنسَانُ لَمَّا خُلِقَ نَاطِقًا مُعَبِّرًا عَمَّا فِي ضَمِيرِهِ فَقَدْ خُلِقَ مُدْرِكًا أي عالما. He says, and this is the foundation of all sciences. So when man was created, i.e. the human being, was created as a speaking being, expressing what is within himself. He was created as one who understands, i.e. a knower, an alim, as he mentioned in Arabic. And he was created as a teacher. So anyone that increases in vocabulary gives himself an extra push into being able to acquire a certain and particular knowledge. And one of our students realized this, and after a few months he was able to fully understand the Arabic language and express himself in fully Arabic. And whatever he wasn't able to understand, he was able to ask in Arabic and understand the definition given to him in Arabic, which is the goal where we all want to get in the beginning. Is that first big gap that there is in between your beginner level and once you feel like you have, okay, now I got it, I just need to get better at it. And you can check some of these students by going to the first link in the description and check their video testimonials, so you can see where they were at, how they speak now, and what they were able to accomplish. Now this brings me to step number 3, which is the coaching catalyst. Now this is where most people fail. They try to be lone wolves, but you need someone to notice your mistakes. In second language acquisition, they call this noticing hypothesis, because the reality is that you won't be able to see your own errors until someone points them out, whether it's in pronunciation, whether it's in understanding, whether it's in how you use certain words. But there is a catch to this, which is that not every Arabic speaker, not every native speaker can be a coach, because you need someone who understands the process of a non-native speaker. And this is why at Anders Institute, I put a lot of emphasis on making sure that our instructors have gone through the process themselves of learning the Arabic language, and they are able to connect with the students at a cultural level, being all of them from the West. So as of now, we have 7 teachers all together in between men and women, and they are all from different places: UK, Italy, Canada, etc., etc. And so what that does is that you are able to understand the mistake the student is making and why he's making it. So for example, once I was delivering a speaking session, and one student from the US, he says, قَضَيْتُ مَالِي كُلَّهُ. So qada, if literally translated in the dictionary, you're going to see spend, but it's only in the context of spending time. So أنا قضيت في مكة ثلاثة أسابيع مثلا. I spent in Mecca 3 weeks. But the students spend خلاص, spend money too. But it's not, we don't say like that. You don't say I spend money. You say أنفقت مالي. I spend in that, because Allah Azza wa Jalla says وما أنفقتم من شيء فهو يخلف, and you won't spend with anything except that Allah Azza wa Jalla, He will replace it. So the point is that because I know his original language, I know what he's trying to say, and I know why he's making this mistake. And this is why when I met with the author of Medina books and the author of Al-Arabi bin Adik books, they both agreed with me that the best teacher is the teacher who has gone through the process and learned from scratch. That doesn't mean that teacher is going to have not necessarily that automatic speech like a native speaker has, but he has something more powerful when it comes to coaching, which is understanding why this student is making this mistake, because he at one point was making that mistake as well. So in Andalus Institute, every time you finish a lesson in Kashf al-Mufradat system, a coach sits with you to refine your speech, and this prevents something we call fossilization, which is when you repeat a mistake so many times that it becomes a fossil inside of your brain. So it becomes basically a permanent mistake. And this reminds me of the quote of Umar ibn Khattab, where he says, تَعَلَّمُوا الْعَرَبِيَّةَ فَإِنَّهَا تَزِيدُ الْمُرُوءَةَ. Learn Arabic, for it increases one's manliness and dignity. Why al-muru'ah, and why? How does it correlate? And the reason is that when speaking clearly, eloquently, and you're able to convey and express a message correctly, it changes how you carry yourself, and it sharpens your mind, just like Shaykh Islam Ibn Taymiyyah mentioned as well in Majmu' al-Fatawa about the Arabic language increasing and making your intellect and mind strong. So when a coach corrects your lahan, your grammatical mistakes, or even sentence structure mistakes, you aren't just learning words, you're building your Arabic intellect. And this is exactly what we do at Andalus Institute. We don't just give you a login, we actually guide you through the process, holding your hand. And remember that booking a call through the first link in the description, booking a qualification call, not only you're going to get the possibility to perhaps get accepted into the program, to be able to complete the program, but we are going to give you a vocabulary wallet regardless if you get accepted or not into the program. So if you are thinking of learning the Arabic language and you have that lingering feeling of, oh, should I do it now? Maybe I'm too busy, that. Just do the first step. وَلَعَلَّ اللَّهَ يُحْدِثُ بَعْدَ ذَلِكَ أَمْرًا. And perhaps Allah Azza wa Jal will give you the tawfiq to be able to do so. Most of the times we are concerned about things that are not even a problem. And once you speak to one of our student onboarding coaches, you quickly realize, once he shows you inside of the program and you are able to imagine how you would go through the program, you're going to realize that it's not that much of a big deal how you imagine it in your head. And subhanAllah, you never know. As of now, I have 3 students in my mind who completed our program and then they got accepted to Medina. They did the test for the Arabic language and they were told that they could go directly to the faculty because the Arabic language was already good enough. So these to reinforce the fact that you don't need to wait until you get accepted to Medina University, wait until you're able to go to Egypt, wait until you're able to go to Mauritania in order for you to learn the Arabic language, which is Mabda al-Ulum, as Ibn Ashur mentioned, or as it was reported in his tafsir. They were ahead already by taking advantage of the time they had when they were back home in the West. And we have other students who go from Alif to having full conversations in 16 lessons. It's not theory what I'm telling you here, but it's 100% success rate for everyone who finish the program. Everyone who finishes the program learns the Arabic language. And I need you to imagine waking up for tahajjud, opening the mushaf, laying your eyes on the page, and not just reading, but hearing the message, feeling the message in your heart that Allah Azza wa Jal is telling you. Instead of having to quickly run to a translation app or talking to ChatGPT, not even being sure if it's the right translation, but directly understanding the kalam of Allah Azza wa Jal. The sweetness of your salah becomes different. You are able to focus more, whether it's behind the imam in Taraweeh, whether it's by yourself while reading, while memorizing. And now I have given you the roadmap. But I know from experience that having the map is one thing. Actually walking the path is another. So if you want one-to-one mentorship to apply for Kashf al-Mufradat system and know how to apply it into your life, we are opening a few spots for the program this week. So go ahead and book a qualification call, and regardless of what the outcome is, you are going to get your Mahfadat al-Mufradat in order to start your journey in the Arabic language, or continue your journey in the Arabic language, as is the case of most of our students. So click the first link in the description right now, book a qualification call and grab your vocabulary wallet. I will see you on the next one, bi'idhnillah azza wa jal. Wassalamu alaikum.